Today we're going to be talking about everything that broke on my GX470. Now, when I say broke, I don't mean it left me stranded, but these are things that I've had to fix since buying it a few months ago. Let's hop into this because the list is starting to get a little long. The first thing that I did as soon as I got my GX470 back there was I took it to my local garage that I'm good friends with, and I had the timing belt done and the water pump done. Now, the guy I bought it off of did say it was done, but I didn't trust him, and also the water pump was leaking a little bit of coolant and it stunk. I hate coolant smell, so I wanted to get it done. So that was the first thing I had done on the GX470. Then from there, I realized that, okay, there's some water damage on the inside of my GX470. Both sides of my roof were leaking really bad, and it was coming from the sunroof. The sunroof motor broke when I was trying to adjust it. So what we ended up having to do was completely seal off the sunroof to make sure nothing would leak down into the sunroof anymore. So that was another thing we had to fix. That was pretty annoying because the water just kept coming in, and I actually thought it was from my roof rack. So I had to take my roof rack apart like 4 different times and put silicone down in the holes to try to get the leak to stop, and that did not stop it. But now my sunroof does not open. We disconnected the motor so nobody can accidentally hit it and rip my silicone apart and break the steel that we have on the roof now. The next thing I noticed that was wrong was another coolant leak coming from the top of the engine. This is the coolant inlet that goes into the water pump. This was leaking and causing a smell as well. So we had that replaced with a new coolant inlet and replaced all the seals to get that sealed up so it doesn't leak coolant there. Then a week later, I was noticing a little bit of a surging idle, and it seemed like maybe the alternator was going bad. So I had it tested, and sure enough, the alternator was going bad. So then I had the alternator replaced as well, and it's actually a big pain on these, but we have a brand new alternator on there now, and the power seems to be going to the battery and charging all the systems, so we're good to go there. I actually gained about 1.5 mpg with changing out the alternator because it's not struggling to charge the system and having a surging idle every time it's sitting there, so that's awesome. The next thing that I replaced and repaired were the seat covers. I got some seat covers from Coverland on there. They're good enough. Well, unless you want to pay big money and have like $1,000 to have someone come and redo the entire seats, these seat covers work good enough for me, and they look better than having the seats completely destroyed, and they're pretty comfortable as well. From there, I also replaced the head unit because it was a cheap one from Walmart. It didn't have Android Auto. It was just a normal like Pioneer you can find at Walmart. I replaced it with a iDoing unit that has Android Auto so I can run my maps and stuff, and that's how I navigate when I'm out driving around and doing trips. So I really wanted Android Auto, but unfortunately, the factory audio in my GX is completely destroyed. I don't know if it's from the previous owner splicing into the wiring harness when he installed his radio, or maybe the factory amp's destroyed. Either way, I took the doors apart and saw that the factory speakers were completely destroyed. I installed a new amp and new door speakers so I can actually listen to music, because the entire time I've owned this, I had no way of actually pushing sound to the speakers on either of the head units. So I just ended up bypassing the factory speakers and the factory audio system and factory amp and running my own system, running all new door speakers. That's what I did in my last video. That was a big pain, but I'm really happy now with the way it sounds and being able to drive and listen to music. I also put WeatherTech floor mats in there because there was no floor mats at all. It was just carpet, and with it being muddy and wet up here, it was kind of destroying the carpet on the inside. So I've got some WeatherTech floor mats. They work really good. I highly recommend them if you need floor mats. Also, I did the front headlights to LED because I can't see at night, and that helps a ton. We upgraded the fog lights as well because one of the fog lights was out, so I might as well upgrade them to LEDs. We had a brake light that was out. We replaced that as well. I'm trying to think of any other things that broke and were replaced rather than just kind of like mods I've been putting on that I had sitting around the house or I had companies send out to me. What else broke? Well, there's a couple things that are broke right now that I need to fix before this is going to be considered bulletproof. The first thing is going to be the rack and pinion. It is leaking power steering fluid, so I want that fixed. I don't like leaving spots of power steering fluid everywhere I park. And also the rear main seal is leaking. It's going to be about $2,000 probably to fix, roughly, give or take. Kind of expensive fixes, so I'm kind of putting them off. But I do want to let you guys know everything that I've done to this didn't really need to be done. I'm only doing them because I want it to be bulletproof because I plan on driving across the country in this thing. But to be honest with you, if I was, 18 years old or a little bit younger and I only needed a vehicle to go back and forth to work, like I used to drive shit boxes all the time that were just leaking oil and barely running. Maybe I had a Subaru running on 3 cylinders that was like as old as I was. But back then I would just drive them until the wheels fell off and not really care. But because I'm going cross country in this, I'm trying to make it bulletproof. Honestly, from the time I bought this vehicle until right now, I probably didn't have to put any money into this and I could just still be driving it and it would be running. But because I want it bulletproof, I'm just trying to do everything right and make sure it's 100%. If that makes sense. I hope you all enjoyed this little update on the GX470 and everything I've been doing to make it 100% bulletproof and ready to hit the road on some adventures. I'm hoping to have the GX completely done by the end of April and start taking it out on some crazy adventures and kind of switch up the content a little bit from the mod reviews and kind of getting this build done to actually using the build and going on adventures and doing some challenge videos in it. Like I take my 20-year-old GX across the country and we see if it breaks down. Should be a good time. I plan on keeping this GX until either the frame rots in half or I don't know, something crazy happens to it. But I want to keep it on the road as long as I possibly can. And I'm going to take you guys on the journey with me. It should be a good time. Now, if you're shopping for a GX470, there's a few things you need to know. I bought mine on the lower end of the budget, so that's why I'm having all these issues. It's at 180,000 miles when I bought it. And usually when people are selling these, it's because these maintenance items need done. Rear main steel's leaking, rack and pinion's leaking, timing belt water pump needs done. And instead of spending $4,000 to get it ready to go for the next 100,000 miles, they just kind of pawn it off to the next person, especially at that price point that I bought it at under $10,000. Now, if you're looking at one and you're ready to spend about $15,000 or $12,000, somewhere in between there, all these maintenance items are probably done, but you're gonna get them at a lower mileage where you don't have to deal with them. I'll continue to take you on the journey of building it out and preparing it for these adventures. Yesterday, I just got the 270 awning mounted with some custom mounts I had made up to extend it past the tent. Looks pretty good up there. I'm kind of testing it out right now to make sure the mounts are strong enough. Other than that, we also have to do the back storage and mount my new fridge up, and we should be good to go to do some adventures and kind of do a shakedown video of the GX470 and make sure nothing's going to fall apart on us when we're out on the trips. Other than that, I think that's all I got for you guys. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all the support on the GX470 build. I love taking you guys on these adventures. I will see you in the next video. Check this one out right here. It's pretty good, and I'll see you in the next one.